Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in amma ba'ad. Fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Sadaqallahul azim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everybody who's listened to this. This is the fourth in the series Naseehah for Hijrah, and I want to continue with the Naseehah advice that I began from last week and indeed from all four previous sessions, inshallah. So again, a quick recap for those of you who may not have seen the other parts. Phase 1, we're looking at the plan is preparation. Phase 2, relocation, and phase 3, establishment. So what I'm going to be doing today is again continuing with the preparation stage, and I'm going to be looking at the next part of what we need to do, inshallah, that I would advise that people who are in groups should be planning for, inshallah. So again, in this session, I want to continue to discuss building up the Hijrah community through doing tasks that build us both personally and as a group, inshallah. These tasks are not only for this purpose, but they are actually tasks that will be needed in the future phases, so they have double the importance. Okay, so what I look at this time round is to do really more with education all round. I want to look at children's education, academic education. I want to look at children's Islamic education too. I want to look at the children's summer activities. And I also want to look at adult Halaqah. So they're all based on education really, because that's very important and in some respects probably the most important aspect here. So let's go through it and take it one by one. In no particular order, but let's have a look, inshallah, because they're all important indeed. So children's Islamic education. What we need to do is establish a madrasah using members of the group to teach Qaaidah, Qur'aan and Islamic studies. So amongst the group, inshallah, you will have people who are familiar with this and are able or capable of doing this, may have some experience of it, may even be qualified for it. You may have some ulama, you may have some brothers or sisters that are quite skilled in this and have been doing it for a while for their own children. Whatever it is, as we understand, we are limited for resources, so we have to make do with what we've got. And so I would recommend that we actually get some people, one or two, brother or a sister or both, one of each, to start teaching the children of the members of the group. And what they do is put their children forward, and the brother and sister teach boys and girls accordingly. At this stage, because we're still here in the cities and so on, you have the resources and the facilities to actually engage with actual teachers as well if you don't already have them. So you can get an alima and an alim or an alima to do this. And what you do is you put your members with those people, right? You put your own group members, the brother with the alim and the sister with the alima, and they can learn from them as they go along as well. So that would be helpful, inshallah. But this is one other way of doing things. Organize the children into age appropriate and arrange attendance physically or via Zoom. Now, it may be possible if you've got members of the group who are living close together, that people can come together, the children can come together in one physical place, even a local masjid, if that can be arranged, and the children can then be taught face to face. Or it may not be possible to do that because the children, the parents are living at a distance from one another. It's not convenient, in which case you can do it over Zoom. Or you may have a bit of both, in which case you do both. You teach children that are physically there with you, and you have a laptop with you, and you have children who are on Zoom there in front of you online. And that way you can still progress. So any one of those options is possible, all physical, all on Zoom, or a part of both, inshallah. The members of the group can donate Islamic books as well towards a library which can help educate the children. So right now where you are, in fact, again, this doesn't have to involve the members of the group. You can involve other people as well. And just generally send out an appeal for Islamic books for children of the particular age that you have. And people would donate, and you can build up an Islamic library. Books on Hadith and Qur'an as well can be included. And this will be all very beneficial, inshallah, for the children and for the future. So these are some of the points that I would like to put across in terms of the Islamic education, to set up an online or a physical madrasa where the children and their studies are being taken care of. In terms of that academic education, there will most likely be homeschoolers amongst the group, and they'll be concerned about the future education of their children, understandably. So If they're already homeschooling, then that kind of makes it easier than having to pull them out of schools. Either way, even if they're going to schools, I would recommend that you find some time and some opportunity, maybe on the weekends, to run these classes so that those children also can attend this homeschooling project. As for the homeschoolers, it won't be any different from what they're normally doing. And again, the parents who are homeschooling, those who are more experienced in it, can be the ones who are allocated to run this project and be able to teach those children. You can establish an education system where group members teach and the children of the group are organized to attend the lessons physically or via Zoom. Again, the same situation as with the madrasa. You can have them all physically there, you can have part and part, or you can have them all on Zoom. Whichever way you do it, the point is that this project must continue. It must be established so that the children have a familiarity with the teachers and their education system is now taken off from dependence upon your environment and your city. Okay, this goes for both the madrasa and the academic education. If you have them within the group, then they are removed from dependence upon wherever and whatever they are in right now. And that's important because obviously you are preparing to move and you can move at any time without even some warning. So what you need to do is keep some kind of system in place that will not be disrupted, especially for the most important things. And this is one of those things, the madrasa and the academic education. Again, also members can donate books towards a library, which can help educate. So dictionaries, thesauruses, encyclopedias, etc., reading books, young reading books, phonics books, etc., whatever is needed, inshallah, can be gathered together and put together as a library, and that library can be part of the educational system. In terms of activities for children, now what we've got here is at the moment we're facing a summer holiday, so alhamdulillah, children will want to do activities. So apart from the other two projects, which is the madrasa and the school, you can do children's activities. So again, this can include again a whole new set of members of the group who are into children's activities, who are physically active, etc. They can't do the teaching in the madrasa, they can't do the teaching in the school system, but they're good at teaching, doing activities for children. These activities can range anything from making cakes and baking small items like that, to outdoor activities, visits to nature centers, zoos, whatever it takes, whatever is convenient, whatever is possible for the children's activities can be done here. You can even have indoor activities or even get a bouncy castle or something like that for one of the activities. Whatever you want to do, my point is that children are now getting together, they're gelling together as well, they're bonding with one another, they're getting to know each other, and they're doing activities, or they're doing madrasa, or they're doing the schooling. And the members of the group are facilitating all of these projects. It may be in some cases that the same people who are facilitating the madrasa also facilitate the school, also facilitate the activities. Alhamdulillah, it's okay, it's not a problem. Again, as I say, we are limited in our resourcing. We're going to be limited in the numbers of people in the group. There may be not more than maybe a dozen people who are actually in the group that are physically, actively, mentally, emotionally committed to the group, attending meetings, etc. And it's those people that you really want to rely on. I would not recommend people outside of that who are not attending meetings, who are not showing too much commitment, but maybe in the WhatsApp or the Telegram group. Those people may not last. So you don't want that. The importance of these activities is several-fold. Only one is that of the education of the children, but there are other things as well. We need the children to be mentally stable for when we move. And I'll talk a bit more about that later on, inshallah. But the point is that you want to have a system where the children and the teachers are all familiar with each other, and that familiarity can continue and carry over into phase 3, where you're established in the retreat, inshallah. So the activities will be in demand for the summer holidays, and again, members can be enlisted to organize and deliver. Now, they don't have to be just for the summer holidays, they can be at other times, about winter holidays, any other holidays, or you can simply do activities as and when you wish to. So you have a team of 2 or 3 people allocated to this, and they are the ones responsible for this. You have a team allocated to the madrasa, you have a team allocated to the school, and you have meetings with these people individually. The Ameer does, the leadership does, to see how progress is going, and also to obviously manage and control these separate tasks. The children, again, can be arranged to age-appropriate groups, or they can be put together because these are activities, so it may be that they can be mixed all together, or if not, then again, into age-appropriate groups. Activities, again, can be online or physical as convenient. There are activities can be done online. okay, with parental support on the side of the children, and the person who's leading it can show how to bake a cake or whatever it is online, and the children can follow with some support from the parents, and these things can be done. Physical activities similarly can be done. So again, it's down to the leadership to decide what is possible, what is convenient that can be done online, and what can be done physically. So you can have, again, part and part, some physical activities where the children get together and some online activities. But the whole task can be carried through, inshallah. So it is important need for the children in the community to have a sense of routine. You want to give the children a sense of routine, and these kinds of projects will give them that. It fulfills their education, but it also gives them a routine. They have meet with a particular teacher, they do particular things, and that is very helpful for them. It gives them a stable sense of mind. This can then continue for them when they move to the retreat, so that it is less mentally straining for them as well as for their parents. That when children come to a retreat, they've got various things to have to deal with, change of food, change of environment, change of living conditions. So if they at least have their education, which is familiar to them, and that is moved with them, the teachers, there's teaching, all of that, then this will be something that will be helpful for the children and keep them in a stable state of mind, inshallah. Also, their education will transition smoothly from city to retreat circumstances. Again, if you go back to what I said earlier, if you can remove their dependence upon the city, upon the environment, and it's enclosed within the group members are delivering it, the group members are managing it, and the children are from the group itself. You can have children from outside, of course, that's not a problem. But of course, when you move, then they will be left. But in the meantime, they can be a part of the group. Now, when you have this situation that's completely independent of the cities, then what happens is you take the entire thing with you when you move from the city into the retreat, and there's no disruption to it. There's no change to it. So the children are completely comfortable in this, and it's like being in a small bubble of an experience which they move from the city into the retreat without any change that's visible for them. In order to plan and implement the madrasa and schooling projects, a group of relevantly skilled individuals should be appointed by the Ameer to develop each project, and I've mentioned this previously. So what you want to do, as I said, is either have somebody who's experienced. So if you've got alima with you, alhamdulillah. If not, then if these people are experienced and skilled to do so, then that would be good. Then if not, then you've just got to work with whoever you've got and upskill them by putting them with some teachers right now whilst you're still able to do so. There will be differences as parents will be setting what and how they have been educating their children. An agreement has to be reached before the plans can be finalized. So, of course, with homeschooling, on the one hand, it's beneficial because children can progress at a different rate to that in school. They're not held back, etc. But on the other hand, you have each set of parents will be doing their own thing. And there's very little coordination, you see, because it's not a school system. So as a result of that, you may find that you've got individuals with individual preferences, individual goals and tasks, etc., individual styles. Now, what people have to do in the group who are in this situation, they have to reach an agreement, and they have to strive for that agreement. They have to forego certain things because for the overall benefit of their children and, of course, the group. You want to do as much of what the parents are doing already anyway, and you can share and swap skills so people can learn from one another, and you can do an overall plan that incorporates as much of the good as possible from all the different parents. But the point is, all the parents have to intend to agree as part of being obedient to the Ameer and as part of having brotherhood, sisterhood within the group, and not to cause differences which can happen at this stage in time. So it's important that everybody understands that this is for our children's sake, and we don't have all the facilities and resources we want, and we do have different ideas, but we've got to allow some kind of leeway so that we can come together and have one robust plan which everybody's agreed upon, and then we can deliver that to the children, inshallah, whether it's for the madrasa and whether it's for the schooling system. So please have that in mind. Obedience to the Ameer for the sake of a brotherhood of Jama'ah, right? Both of which you will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, if there's differences and people are being stubborn about it, then Allah ta'ala will remove His barakah. We cannot afford that. All of this will only occur because of the barakah of Allah ta'ala. The entire Hijrah project will occur because of the barakah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is because you are a Jama'ah led by an Ameer under the guidance and principles of Islam. And if we do not do that and we put cracks into that, then there will be problems for us. So as I said, this is important to maintain unity and the efficient use of resources at the retreat. Okay, so again, what you want to do is be able to have a library and have all the resources that you need put together, and you can take them to the retreat, and then you can utilize those resources and you can utilize the teachers in a best manner, inshallah, as is appropriate. Finally, the adult halaqah, and this is the Qur'aan Tazkiyyah course, so I am running myself, inshallah. But again, alhamdulillah, if there are other brothers who can do this, alhamdulillah, each group needs to find their own. You are welcome to consult with me, and I'm happy to share my material, or even that you can, because Zoom is possible all around the world. And so you can attend this one, or you can attend one that your own group puts together. But it is very important to have a Tazkiyyah course from the Quran that is based upon Quran and Hadith, and has its depth, its understanding in tafsir. It's very important to do this to keep the unity and the iman of the people together and strong. As I've mentioned before, if you have one teaching system where all the adults are together, who are all coming from different backgrounds with different scholars and different types of learning, then you have one single central unified base, okay, where everybody can come together and understand that, yeah, we've all been taught by this particular course, or have understood what, our Islam from this particular session, or this particular alim, Maulana, Imam, etc. That's important because it gives us all a sort of a basis, which is togetherness, all right? Otherwise, we will only have different ideas from different origins and different sources, and that will cause a problem in itself for leadership to try to get us all to be together. So make it easy upon yourselves. Again, with the same mentality as before, we want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want the Jama'ah, we want to support the Jama'ah, we want it to be a Jama'ah, but in order to do that, each one of us has to let go of something in order to be together, in order to be unified. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking to see, and that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward, and that's when you get the barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the project will be successful, inshallah. So please, everybody, understand this. Core of the matter is Qur'aan Tazkiyyah, that you have Tazkiyyah, you have development of your iman, of your spirituality from the Qur'an. And secondly, that you are unified upon something where you're all being taught by the same source, and therefore you have something which is common ground between you. Very important to have that. And overall, of course, the Jama'ah. So, in terms of the Qur'aan Tazkiyyah course, this will be a necessary part of the Deeni and spiritual development of the group, inshallah. The group should have a knowledgeable practicing brother who can deliver such sessions to help members grow in Deen and remove negative aspects of character over time, inshallah, which may otherwise affect the harmony and unity of the group. So it's very important at this point, right? We need to remove our negativities, and nobody's free of those. We've all got them. But the thing is that we are willing to shed them, and we shed them by listening to the Quran, taking upon ourselves the implementation of the tazkiyah of the Quran, and therefore allowing those things that we don't need, those things we recognize to be nafsi from our egos, we let them go. We reflect to each other, we help each other out, and we support one another, and we let these things go. It's very important, because all the hadith that speak about the idea of the akhir zaman, or speak about retreats and so on, talk about iman, about faith, about preserving iman, and talk about doing the whole hijrah for the sake of iman, not for the sake of protecting your lives, or to stay alive, or to come away from pain and the vaccine, etc., etc. Not these kind of things, right? Although those things can come along and they will be part of what you are doing. However, our niyyah, our intention should be that I'm doing this for the sake and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost. That is important. And when we are doing that, then this Qur'aan Tazkiyyah course, its importance becomes quite obvious, that we need to continue to do that in order to keep Allah Ta'ala's help with us, inshallah. So, in terms of the overall, it is important to establish these certain tasks at this stage so that the resources or facilities are available to the community later at phase 3. So the madrasah, the schooling system, the activities, even the halaqah, all of these things we're doing now, and they become established, and we move with them, and because they are independent of the city, they are independent of outside resources, and so we can move with them all completely intact, and so that will benefit us. Working at these tasks now will allow a smooth transition for the community from their current city life to a village retreat, because these tasks will be up and running from phase 1 through to 3. So you won't have to start to do these. A lot of people are thinking, okay, let's go over there, get into a retreat, and then we'll start doing these things. No, that's going to be too many things on your head to try to organize, especially for leadership. It is best to get these things done now, established now. And as I said previously, it will help to test the commitment and resolve of people as well. And people also feel that they are doing things. So it's important to do it now while you're in phase 1, and then it'll carry through to phase 2, and then carry through to phase 3, where it will be established. Because inevitably, when you get to phase 3, you may lose some aspects of it, right? You may lose some resources, you may lose a teacher, you may lose 1 or 2 students because they didn't come through, they may have had a change of plan. Wallahu alam. Right, so you need things to be established now so that you can compensate for those small losses. And overall, as I said, it will be a uniformity for you. It will be a constant routine for you, which you do not have to plan for. Okay, and I would say there's particular things that you need to do this for right now. Education is one, and I've outlined this in this talk, inshallah, and I will talk about other things in the upcoming videos. But for now, these are the 3 that I want to talk about: the Madrasah education, the school education, and the adult education, the Halaqah classes, inshallah. Establishing these tasks will ensure that the community is self-sufficient. That's important. And what we're trying to do is be self-sufficient. You've got to be on this piece of land and be self-sufficient. If somebody comes along and helps, alhamdulillah, but we should not be reliant upon that. We should not be thinking about that. We should be coming to the retreat thinking we have everything we need and we can survive on our own, because chances are that is what we'll have to do. This may be for weeks, for months, maybe for a couple of years. Allahu alam, how long things will take before it becomes back to what we can understand to be a harmonious situation. We don't know when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send Isa alayhi salam. We don't know when the Mahdi will arise. We don't know when these things will happen, because that is ultimately the time when we can actually come out of our retreats. Up until that time, we've got to live in these retreats. And this may be for another 4 or 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So we've got to be self-sufficient on this retreat. And we've got to build that in right now as much as we can, whilst we've got the resources around us in the cities where we are living. So it is very important to get these things done. And all the brothers and sisters should have that commitment. Everybody in the group should have some kind of resources, some kind of skills and abilities, and should put them, bring them forward. Education is important. We all want it for our children, and it's not going to happen unless and until we take that step. And as I said, because we have different styles and different needs, we've got to be able to let go of certain things for the sake of unity, for the sake of maintaining the barakah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah ta'ala will give. Whatever you give up for now, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will return it to you later on. Don't worry about that. We are all concerned about our children. We are all concerned about education. We are all concerned about our own halaqah and our development as well. Everybody's concerned. It's okay. Don't think that I'm going to make a loss here. Nobody's going to lose anything. Allah will take care of everything, inshallah, if you have the right intention. And the intention is to keep Jama'at together, to keep obedience to the Ameer, and to do these tasks and build them through. Do not sit back. Do not be afraid. Do not be hesitant. Support your leadership, do these projects, get them going, because we are in this situation where it's not getting any better. And those who are doing the things that they are doing to destroy this world, to destroy this society, to break down Islam and the Muslim community, they are working at it hard. And we need to respond to that by working at the reality of Islam and the reality of what we need to do hard too. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching, and He will reward us, inshallah. So don't give up on that. But we've got to pull our finger out as well. We've got to be doing things. We've got to meet them as they have met us. They've come to us well prepared, well energetic, well focused, well equipped, well resourced, well planned. We've got to return with the same response. We've got to be planned. We've got to be prepared. We've got to be organized. We've got to be committed and energetic. And we've got to be a jama'ah. And Allah Ta'ala will help us. Don't worry about the lack of resources. The Sahaba had a lack of resources. 313 Sahaba against 1,073 or so of the Quraysh in the Battle of Badr. And all the time, the Quraysh had the upper hand. They were the ones in charge. They were the ones with authority. They had the ones with the resources and the connections. The Sahaba were few, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was with them. And that is what you have to understand. Those with whom is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what have they got to fear? What have they got to lose out? We win whether we win here in this dunya. We win if we go to the akhirah. We win, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us. but you have to be concerned about what we need to do in our preparation phase. Everyone who's in the Jama'ah of a Hijrah group, you all got to wake up. You have to sit up to this. You have to make your efforts, and you have to get involved, and you have to show your commitment. This is for the sake of your own life and the lives of those you love around us who are with you, and the lives of the children, and the success of the Hijrah group. And if that is successful, then you will survive. You will have Allah Ta'ala's help, and you will survive, and you will enter into the pleasure of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and in Yawm al-Hisab you will be rewarded with Jannah, inshallah. So please don't give up, and don't be hesitant. Get involved and be involved and show commitment, because you are all you have. Your group, that is all you have. You cannot rely on anybody else. The group is all you have. If Allah Ta'ala gives you more, alhamdulillah. But if not, you have only each other, and you have to work for it. You have to work together, inshallah. So I hope that this was of benefit to you, and I hope that inshallah, my words, my Naseehah. Naseehah is what it is. I don't claim to be any expert on this. I just want to share what I'm doing and what I'd like you guys to do. If you can build upon this, alhamdulillah. If you can send me some feedback, and if you want to get in touch with me, alhamdulillah. You have my email from the previous videos, and I'll put it in the notes on this one down below, inshallah. And you're welcome to email me, and I'm welcome to actually, more than anything else, I would like to hear from the people who are in charge of groups. I would like for us to talk together, share ideas, and help one another out, inshallah. Perhaps we as leaders of groups can make a Jama'ah as well, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu alayk.